Can the Romans win this game? I'm sure people have won. I don't know if they played against solid players, but I've tried 4 or 5 times and I've lost. I put up a Siege of Jerusalem, Avalon Hill board game, the original board game, and I went to the third assault phase and I lost right here at the temple. And I did take it for a turn. I had to extend that week up to 10 turns, but the Judeans took it back and I failed that assault, so I lost. This one, I'm not going to do a play-by-play, but I'm just going to go over the specifics and what I think the Romans should do, and I'm going to play as an aggressive Judean player. So the Romans are going to have it cut out for them. And also, the only special rule I'm using is the chart that came in the general magazine. I've used it before. All it does is it moves all the categories up one by one column in favor of the Romans. But other than that, all the rules stay the same, and you'll see them as I play the game. And I'm keeping my overall strategy the way I usually do. I put up the 10th Legion over here in the new city all by itself. And it's commanded by Lepidus. He's the strongest legion commander, a 710. And then the other 3 legions are set up on the corner of the new city to try to take fortresses on that side. Because as I assault Jerusalem and I go after the temple, the fortresses, which are hard to take, I want to try to get them under my control, and that way the Judeans can't harass me from behind as I'm assaulting the temple. Now I set up all my legions the same. Now I always attack the new city in the first assault, and I'll give a rundown every time I assault. But the new city, as I'm attacking, facing the new city, to the right of the Woman's Gate is the easiest spot to attack because they don't have built-up hexes behind the wall. So I always set up to engage 2 bastions, and then the ram hits between the 2 in the wall. And I'll show you when I do it. And you can see here at the weakest point in the wall, you see the 2 bastions I'm facing, and then there's 2 wall sections in between. Well, 2 towers are going to go to the bastion there on the left. The other tower will go on the right. The reason I do that is because there's a rule that says mandatory targets. Well, a mandatory target is, first of all, a zone of control. Now, there is no zone of control between the elevated hexes and the towers. However, there's also adjacent units. Now, a siege engine in itself, or an artillery unit, is not considered a mandatory target for this purpose. However, other units are. So anybody you have adjacent to that bastion, which would be the pushing Roman units or the one riding on top, are considered adjacent. Therefore, they will draw the Judean fire from those bastions and not go on the ram. Now, the first 3 cohorts will man the first 3 towers. That would be my Triarii, the strongest, is riding up top, and the Hastati and the Principes will push. Now, the ram only needs 2 units. Again, it's the Hastati and the Principes. The Triarii will set back with either one of the artillery units. For example, the first 4 cohorts are manning the siege engines. The next 4 are in testudos with the Veleti. So I have the Hastati and the Principes in a testudo with the Veleti. Well, the Triarii, they're stacked with the artillery. Now, you can put 3 Roman units in a hex with the artillery. So they are protecting them because you got to watch out for Judean units coming out. Now, the last 2 cohorts will go into testudos themselves. Sometimes I don't, just depending on what I feel like. But they usually go into testudos, and they will get ready to exploit the breaches in the wall. Now you can see here the shields, the units that are looking like the shields, those are what I use for testudos. If they have the white mark on them, that means there's a Valetti in them. And the units you see off to the back of the board, those are actually the units that are in the testudos. Now, in between the siege engines, I always set up the onager 5 spaces away, because you're allowed to set up 5 hexes from the wall. And then right behind it is the ballista. They will have a direct line of fire to the bastion for at least a turn or two. But then once the towers get up there, of course, firing through towers, you have to be -1. But that's the setup. I will advance everybody up to the wall. The towers will draw Judean fire from the bastions, while the ram will ram the center of the wall. All the testudos, all the foederati will be behind, throwing missiles up at the wall. And the way the game mechanics are, you're always looking to pick off Judean missile units that can hurt you. I will give a quick rundown in the next video of just how I advance on the wall and how the game mechanics work and how to take advantage of those game mechanics.